here's a little sketchbook challenge to myself. I'm going to use a Derwent XL graphite chunk, some Sennelier French ochre watercolour, and a Lyra water-soluble graphite pencil, possibly, and the Art Graph, which is watercolour graphite. So these all may come into play, definitely the watercolour and definitely the graphite chunky pencil, or whatever. I get filthy using that, but it's good fun. Anyway, so I just thought I'd have a little play in my sketchbook and see what happens, because it's really good fun to experiment. I think we can sometimes get totally hung up on producing a finished piece, where actually experimentation is really important. So I've just got a glass of a jam jar even of clean water and a pretty old brush, and I'm just going to splosh some water around, get some directional marks and maybe a splodge there. Just let's see what happens from word go. Right, then I'm going to be using the Senneliers. I had this given free years ago, goodness knows where I got it from, but French ochre is actually a superb colour, look. I've put quite a big blob on, as you can see, and I'm going to spread that across with a palette knife so that I get more of a, I don't know, bold, uneven sort of mark. Let it just sort of move around and pick up where there's some water and spread. So leave that like that. Set my palette knife over here out of the way, 'cause it's got loads of paint on it. Into that I'm going to add a little bit more water, just try and get some movement going. Got a lovely run there. There's one thing, oh look at that, fabulous. It's one other thing that I didn't mention that I might use is this stuff. Again, given to me, and this is really exciting, but I may use some of that toward the end, possibly. Right, let's go in with the fabulous Derwent extra large graphite chunk. Get some, if I can get some marks going. There we are. Look at that. Because it's been wetted, you get these really gorgeous dark marks. They're just so wonderful and powerful. And you can draw with it. I could do much lighter lines. As I say, I really am experimenting. I don't have any finished product in mind, any finished painting. Just let's see what happens. Have fun with it. The thing is, you can also go a bit too mad. So look at that, wonderful. So just get my cloth and clean my hands just a little bit. And I'm going to use the graphite pencil, the water-soluble Lyra. So I'm dunking it into the water, just so you can see it's gone in. And again, you get much nicer marks and much stronger in density when it wants to work. There we are. It's getting moving now. It's very similar to the Derwent graphite lump, but you get some interesting bits and pieces going on. Tempted to do a few sort of, I don't know, little marks. Oh, like that. It's going into the green, it's got actually some of the watercolour into it, so it's all experimental. I like that mark. Right, set that one aside and let that dry. I've got a water bottle. I'm going to give it a bit of a spray from a height, just see what's happening with it. Try and encourage some of those pigments to move around a little bit. And I think I might just go back in with the palette knife. So we are experimenting. There's nothing planned. Just going to clean that off now, because I could possibly do some drawn lines into this. Quite like revealing some, oh, like that, look, move that, oh, that's nice, isn't it? You see, when you just have fun, things reveal themselves. That's a nice mark too. I'll put some of that pigment back down there. There's absolutely heaps of it. I've got sellotape around this shape now. I might just do a bit of spattering, get some different marks going. That's the other thing, just make sure you're always altering the marks. And just have fun experimenting. I'm wetting this cartridge paper. It says just a sketch pad, so I'm going to have to be a bit careful how wet I get it. There we are. And I like the fact that that's got a bit of a connection now, and I'm going to do the same just here. There. But I rather like this area here being a bit more speckled, so I'll leave that. I might leave that as it is actually. Just clean up the edges. Trouble is I've got it incredibly wet, so I'm going to have to be awfully patient and allow it to dry to see what the finished result is. But okay, I've got loads there. Can you see how that is all starting? Oopsie, making a mess. How that's all starting to split and granulate. If I, sorry, bring that up. Can you see here how that's granulating? Let the camera get a good look of it. Fabulous effect. Okay, at the risk of chucking the kitchen sink at it, I am going to. This stuff that I mentioned, I'm just going to put a tiny pinch of it. It goes a little bit brown, but it also splits quite beautifully. So if I put some in there, and maybe just a bit up there. Don't overdo it. It's so easy to do, isn't it? Because you're enjoying yourself and you're getting some interesting effects. Put the lid on, so I'm bound to make a mess and send it flying. Just get that up there. Oh, look, gorgeous. It's almost like coffee granules. It's fantastic. I'm going to just squirt this area here a little. See if I can get that to... Can you see how that's going brown? Fascinating. And just lift some of this out because it's kind of a bit too puddly. And I would like to have slightly less of that. But might fill that in there as well. See, again, using the tissue, different marks, and having fun with it. Okay, and in there. Right. What I'll do is I'll leave that there. I will either dry it or allow it to dry, and then I will let you see the finished product. And that's just taken a very few minutes of just experimenting. And as I say, it is purely having a bit of fun and experimenting with just a few materials. So Sennelier French ochre, the XL Derwent graphite chunk, and the Lyra water soluble pencil, and this whatever that is. I don't even think it's anything to do with watercolour, but never mind. Okay, right, that was a bit of fun. I'll let you see the finished product.